Are service employees entitled to tips as a matter of right, or is it a privilege? Well, a restaurant has answered this by issuing a tip policy, and this has been circulating around social media in different neighborhood groups. And this restaurant describes tips as a privilege and must be earned, and it has certain conditions that employees must meet before they're entitled to tips. The policy describes a situation where if an employee is 5 to 10 minutes late, they can be removed from tips. The policy also says that if you are disciplined during your shift, you can be removed from tips. The policy states that if you no call, no show to your assigned shift, you can be removed from tips for the rest of the week. The policy also states that if you're fired, your tips will be forfeited. This policy is illegal under the Fair Labor Standards Act because when you have a tipped employee, that means that they're being paid less than the minimum wage. So let's say the minimum wage is $7.25 and you're paying them $2.13 an hour. If for any reason you choose to discipline them by removing them from tips, then that means that they're not making any tips and they're not making the minimum wage. So what are you going to do? You're going to let someone work for the whole week, the whole day at $2.13 an hour? I don't think so. That is a minimum wage violation. Once a tipped employee has earned the tips, the FLSA requires that the employer must not keep any part of that tip. If you have a tipped employee that was fired, you cannot forfeit their tips that they have already earned. Under the Fair Labor Standards Act and many other state statutes on wages, the tips belong to the employee and not the restaurant or the bar. So you cannot take someone's earned tips as a way to discipline them. If you get caught and you get sued for minimum wage violation, you cannot then say that, well, I had the employee sign the agreement. Guess what? You cannot make employees sign an illegal agreement, and if they do sign it, it doesn't absolve you of liability for FLSA violation. In fact, it would show that you're purposely violating the Fair Labor Standards Act because on its face, it's an illegal policy. Having written policies like this is a good way to get audited by the Department of Labor, or you could get sued for minimum wage violation. Okay, back to work.